What does it mean to design your life? How are you designing your life? You've heard the idea that you are a creator, that you are put here to create, to build, to grow. This is something I've promoted over the years. But what does it really mean to think about how we're designing our lives, who we're surrounding ourselves with, where we're going every day, how we're spending our time, how we're spending our energy, our money? How are we living our lives in general? I want us to stop to take a few moments to think about what it means to design your life with intention, and to ask you to reflect on how you've been designing your life and creating your life, perhaps unconsciously, subconsciously, over the years. And finally, the power, the immense power behind the realization that you are, in fact, designing your life every moment of every single day, and how that can affect your life going forward. First, what does it mean to be a designer? When you imagine somebody who's designing, who is creating out in the world, let's take fashion, for example. Somebody who is piecing together cloth, different pieces of material from all around the world, perhaps, and putting them together into a new creation that can be worn and can be embraced, perhaps for protection from the elements, just for fashion because you like the way it looks. But the point is, this person is weaving together various elements to create one single cohesive item. And if you take that idea and apply it to the way that you are designing your life, taking individual experiences from everything you do, say you go to work and you deal with different kinds of people. On your way to work, you experience some things. At your home life, you experience certain things. And of course, through internet interactions, you're experiencing a whole nother world of stimuli and influences. And each of these together weave the cohesive piece that is your life. The way that you integrate those experiences, the way that you respond and react to those experiences, determines the path that you take in life. And it sounds kind of abstract, but I think it's really quite simple when you really think about this. Like every single day of your life, whether you are intending to or not, you are designing the path that you are taking from the days coming. And you can look back to your past and you can see how you have weaved that direction. And as I said previously, sometimes we're doing so unconsciously. I can think of the first 20 to 21 years of my life really feel like a dream or like I was asleep. Personally, I was buried under clouds of depression and addiction and just confusion at the experiences I had growing up. And without the proper tools, the emotional literacy to piece together myself into something cohesive, my life became a jumbled mess because I didn't know how to interact, how to integrate these experiences, and how to overcome that trauma. And because of that, things ended up pretty scary and pretty dark, but ultimately I still got where I needed to be, right? But that was the design that I was creating at that time. It was very unconscious creation. I was just often felt like those 20, 21 years like I was watching a movie, and it was only later that I realized, holy crap, this is my life. I'm the person that these things are happening to. I'm not just watching them from a third-person perspective, especially when you add lots of drugs to the mix. And so since that time, I've more recently started to tell people that I feel like I'm about 8 or 9 years old, because it literally feels like the first 20 to 21 years of my life were just somewhere else, someone else. And now that I've become the conscious designer, the conscious creator of my path and of my life, I constantly manifest so many beautiful experiences. This doesn't mean that there are not frustrations, there aren't down moments or sadnesses or loss or any of the things that are just part of the nature of life. The only thing it means, the only thing that designing your life and taking control of your mind and heart and spirit can promise you is that you will be able to weather these storms with a much more mature, emotionally literate mind, a critically thinking mind, and capable of overcoming anything that comes your way. So you still stub your toe, you still get stuck in traffic, you still have arguments with your significant other, you still have the frustrations of life. But it's the way that you handle these things that really determines the path that you're going to take. And so I just want to invite each of you to think about the conscious and unconscious ways that you are designing your life. A good friend, Stephen Brooks, who you may have heard me talk about, who is a man of many hats, but one of these hats is a master of permaculture, and also applying the philosophy of permaculture, not just to how we grow our food and how we work with the earth, but also the idea of social permaculture and the way that we are designing our lives. Permaculture is a ecological design philosophy that pertains to working in harmony with the planet and growing your food in a certain way, and using agricultural tools in a certain way that are more in balance with the planet, as opposed to being invasive and destructive. And part of that philosophy includes planting foods in various zones, depending on your need to interact with them and how often that takes place. So for example, in zone 1 are the foods that you plant very close to you because you have to water them every day, maybe twice a day. So you have your home, right? And you have zone 1 foods that you're going to be dealing with and watering and maintaining and tending to every single day. A little bit further out, you'll have zone 2 that perhaps you water a couple of times a week. And third zone is even further away because you don't need to get to it as often, and that might be once a week. And zone 4 and on and on. So Stephen put this idea in my head of the fact that we are designing our lives in certain ways that really go against the desires that we claim to have. Like, so if you want to live a life that is focused on sustainability and regenerative practices and growing your own food and going off grid and being the sovereign, free, powerful, beautiful human being you are, but you've designed your life in a way that is going to prevent you from ever achieving this goal, then that's something to look at. Now, it's not about passing blame and saying, look, this is your fault that you are living the life you're living. But I think it could be a helpful, inspirational tool for each of us to stop and say, wow, this is the circumstances I find myself in. How did I get myself here? And if you find yourself dissatisfied with the current design of your path and of your life, then create something new, design something new. For example, if you want to have your closest family and friends near you, you want to see them more often. Why have you designed your life in a way that they live 45 minutes away, an hour away, 2 days away, on the other side of the world? Is that the best that's possible? Or is this settling for something less than what you truly want? Because again, we are constantly designing, we are constantly creating, consciously, unconsciously, subconsciously. The more you grab a hold of that consciousness and you become aware of what your goals are, what your desires are, and you start to use the holistic self-assessment to look at your goals and your habits and your principles and your relationships and try to get these things in alignment, then you start to design the life that you truly want. I've seen comments on some videos and even recently with certain people saying things like, I guess making the assumption that I must have a lot of money because I've traveled quite a bit in the past couple of years. In 2018, I was able to speak in Mexico, Costa Rica, Portugal, and Spain, and do a 53-city tour all over the U.S. This year so far, I've spoken Mexico and Costa Rica again, and now it seems I might be speaking in Guatemala later throughout the year, and people asking me to come to Australia or Canada, and I just came back from a 5-week trip traveling through Mexico and Costa Rica and spending a little bit of money, on the road to make it happen, to go speak to people, to talk to people, and to do the things that, for me, fill my soul with joy. And I do so coming home now with maybe about $500 to my name. I don't have a bank account or a savings account or a trust fund of any kind. I don't have a 401k or anything. I don't have health care. I don't have insurance. And I'm not saying these things really in a proud way, because I'm sure some of you think that that's insane or just, not very stable. And I'm definitely not at the perfect point in my life. I would like to know that I have some security, but I don't want to get stuck in this mindset that security means just having a bunch of money or working a job 7 days a week, 5 days a week, 40 hours, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week for somebody else just so that I can have insurance in case something goes wrong. I don't want to live my life in fear of something going wrong. Instead, I have found a way to design and to manifest the life that I want by taking action and by clearly knowing what my goals are and in working very hard to align my thoughts, words, and actions so that I can design these outcomes in my life, so that I can build this resource bank that I've developed over 8 years of spreading awareness and creating videos and talking and just being loud and obnoxious and sharing these ideas that pour out of my heart and my mind with anybody who will listen. And through that difficulty, through that blood, sweat, and tears, I've developed a network that allows me to work with so many great people that I can get invited to speak certain places and maybe every now and then be paid for it, or if not be paid for it, have some travel taken care of, or have some of my costs reduced in different ways. And my point with sharing that is that I am not able to do the things I'm doing because I'm wealthy or because I'm making all kinds of money from YouTube. I don't make any money from YouTube or really from any of these things. It's because I chose to consciously design my life in this way, and I'm constantly humbled and just amazed that this is my life and that I get to do these things, because as I said, I don't have a big bank account to fund these, and sometimes I stop and I'm like, wow, I have food in my fridge and my bills are paid and I am able to do all the things I love and not give away my time to somebody else because that doesn't fulfill me with joy. I want to be here at my house working on videos and articles and documentaries and spreading awareness and thinking of new ways to connect to my community and organize and uplift and empower people and spread these ideas, as well as living them and embracing this lifestyle that I want, so that I can get to a more sustainable, regenerative place, so that I don't need money in the first place, so that I can design a life that has my needs being met, and it allows me to reduce my workload even lower, so that I only have to quote unquote work and spend my time doing things that I want to do. That is the life that I'm manifesting, that I'm designing, and I'm not all the way there yet, but I see it happening. I see it coming together, and it's because I am choosing to grab a hold of my life and of my mind and of my path and design it in the way that fills me with joy, and really the only way that I know how to live. So I wanted to share these thoughts with you guys, just to invite that question to you and ask you, how are you designing your life again? Think about what I've shared with you now, and think about the situation you're in, and think about where you would like to be. Maybe put a 1 month goal ahead, and then a 5 month, 6 months goal ahead, and then a year, and really think about these ideas and see, and think about them, realizing that you can truly design to have, I would say anything you want, really, if you put everything you have and you want into it. So think of these ideas without limitation. What is your ideal situation? How are you trying to get there? Are you alone? Are you with a partner? Are you traveling? Are you working a sustainable job that's providing for your needs? Are you eating good, fresh food that's free of pesticides and chemicals and isn't coming from thousands and tens and thousands of miles away? Are you designing your life with zone 1, 2, 3, and 4, where your zone 1 friends and your zone 1 food and your zone 1 needs are the closest to you, and that you can take a look at your life and see that you are creating it, that you are designing it, and you can see the power that you have within your own hands? Do you see that in your life? And if you don't see that, take some time to reflect and to think about how you can get there. Not because anybody else is judging you, but because you deserve to have the life that you want. You deserve to have the life that you wish you could design, and you can design it. You are the creator of this life. You are the creator of your path forward. And the creative force that created all of us flows through each and every one of us and gives us the power to tap into that, to tap into the divine, and to create what we want and to be the designers of our lives. So I invite you, my friends, to be the designer of your life, to stop giving that power away, and to ask yourself, how do you want to design your life? Until next time, remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free. Peace.